Oh man, Jacob, whew, they got us on the run.
Okay.
Don't let them catch us.
Okay, we close the door.
Close the door. Lock the car door.
Okay. We just start
all right,
driving.
We're good. Meow, 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 meow. I think we're safe.
Luke.
Let's hide out in the
Luke,
car.
above us.
What's that? Is that their spy plane? Oh no, they're gonna get us. Jacob, the certain organization that we can't mention for the whole duration of this episode because otherwise they might find out who we are and make it so we can never go to college. No! One would say that it was a certain board that would control if we got to go to college or not. I wonder what we're talking about today.
Okay, I think we have time for one last episode before they catch us.
We better stay careful.
Okay,
We better
ready?
stay vigilant.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Munch, munch.
Crunch, crunch.
Welcome to
Another bonus bite.
With Luke.
Oh, we did it the opposite order.
It works.
It's okay.
We're under a lot of pressure.
They won't find out our identities if we pretend to switch identities. Okay.
Wait, we just said we're switching identities. Dang it.
I mean, we're not switching identities. All right. On a much more serious note, Jacob and I are going to be talking about a thing that I really care about way more than Jacob does, but I feel like we really.
So this
should.
is basically Luke rants.
I'm gonna rant, and Jacob's gonna go. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm making sure that he doesn't say specific
He's gonna do
names.
some active listening. Well, today I'm here to talk about a certain board that decides stuff relating to colleges.
It's made out of wood.
It's a wooden board. Yes. One would say that the name is a one word, but it's like a compound word that has, like, for instance, university and then 2x4, or, supervising group of, academic institutions, or something along that line. Now, on a much more serious note, the reason that I'm not going to say it is because I don't know that it would actually get me in any trouble, but saying the names of the things that this organization offers could run into some problems, since they do kind of control the whole thing. They are a monopoly, and so this group.
Man, I love that board game.
This group controls essentially most of the things relating to college admissions. They control all of the higher level classes in high schools that are available for college credit. They control all of the tests that allow you to advance to having that college the college credit without having to take the class. They also control the standard college entrance level test, which is obviously you know which that one is. It's a 3-letter test, and pretty much everybody in America takes it. As well as they control a couple of other things that are in addition to that. But those are the main things that they control. And they've been around for a hot second, and they've been around since, I believe, 1899. And so, but I just wanted to talk real quick about how it's kind of shady that one company can have so much power over if you can get into college or not, or even what level of scholarship you're going to have once you get in college. Because think about it this way. Most universities, even if they are test optional, right, their admittance is going to be based on GPA, and their scholarships are going to be based on GPA. Well, what helps you boost your GPA better than taking these certain classes that will let you get college credit for them, and they tend to boost your grade point average, your GPA, as you're taking them.
Okay, hear me out.
I'm hearing you out, Jacob.
So, wouldn't it make more sense for this might sound like big government, but wouldn't it make more sense for the government to control it?
Yeah, it really would, because the government controls student aid. So
Yeah,
why would because essentially what it is your amount of financial aid is based on your taxes, but then a private institution that has a monopoly and is also technically a non-profit controls all of the tests that you take. And yes, some people would argue there's an alternative in the ACT, which I will say the name of because I don't have a problem with them. I think the ACT is great. And so, but this other organization, they're the main competitor of the ACT. They've got some real problems. Well, first of all, it has been known that they will recycle previously used standardized tests. So, for instance, I believe it was 2018 or 2019. I believe it was 2019. They used the 2018 test that they used internationally, and they used it in the United States, which is pretty shady because the answers were already online. So that makes cheating pretty convenient. And then there have also been some big scandals relating to. I don't want to go into the specifics of it. One, because I don't know how legal it is for me to go into the specifics of it. Two, because I don't know all the facts. And three, because I'm not really associated with it. But there are certain tests that they have at the end of their courses, their higher level courses. One would say they place something in an upper level and an advanced level. One would say, Jacob, if you're catching my drift. One would abbreviate it to 2 letters. But those type of classes with their specific tests at the end, it has been found out that the organization that we've been talking about so far has actually tried to infiltrate groups and get people to cheat on that test so that they can catch them and so that they can ensure that they aren't going to go to college. So that's pretty crazy. Plus, another key thing, and not to get political with it or anything, I'm not trying to say what content is being taught in those classes is specific, my specific opinion on it. But just the fact that that organization controls the content that is in those upper level college credit available classes is actually insane. Because think about it this way. The federal government controls what is taught in public schools, except for in those classes. In those classes, it's whatever this organization's control decides is what should be taught, which is absolutely insane that a private, non-profit institution is what's going to decide is going to be taught instead of the U.S. government, because this organization is essentially acting as if it were a government, as Jacob pointed out. Like, the equivalent of that the government should be the one in charge of this.
Yeah, because
if you were to do a direct transfer. Now, I would say probably the best thing would be to have a more competition for it, so it's not just straight up monopoly. But as you're saying,
you just do a trust bus. You could do a trust
yeah,
bus.
Yeah, literally just like
go back to the 1910s.
It's basically Standard Oil. This company is the Standard Oil of college testing and high school testing, and
it's worse than cruise lines.
Yeah, it's worse than cruise lines
Which
not
is like
paying your taxes.
different.
But seriously, because think about it this way, and we're gonna really go off here. Because think about it this way. I'm going into college soon. Every test that I have taken that has been a standardized test in the last 5 years, maybe 6 years, has all been by this one company. All been by the same company. And all of that stuff by that company is what allows me to do certain things in college. The score I got on their main test. If I've taken certain tests that allow me to get college credit for courses or not. If I were to have taken certain numbers of their classes for college credit, their kind of higher level classes for college credit, that would have also gotten me additional things in college. So that's kind of insane that this one company controls it all. And here's the thing too. They have very, very kind of broad clauses on some of these tests that you cannot release any information about the test to the public. And it's like a blackmail level situation. You can't say, I don't know the specifics of it, because that's why I'm trying to avoid this, because I don't know if I just say the answers to the test out loud that I'm going to get in trouble, or if it's just talking about the tests in general that's going to get me in trouble. It probably won't, because freedom of speech, but I would rather be safe than sorry, especially at this point. But what I was saying is the clauses on these tests are absolutely insane. Essentially, leaking information relating to these tests will void your score for that test and may prohibit you from taking any further tests by that company, right? So, but the problem is they're a monopoly. What other tests are you going to take? Maybe you could take the ACT for your college entrance, right? Obviously, you're going to get into college. They're technically not college entrance tests, but they're, the thing they look at, because there are college entrance tests that aren't made by this company. But essentially, I'd have to take the ACT instead of this company's test. Plus, all null and void are all of those tests that I would have for those higher level classes, as well as for these tests that I would take to get college credit for a course I haven't taken. That's absolutely insane. And it's not just previous tests that I would be prohibited from taking, but future tests from that company. So it's absolutely insane that a company can have that much monopoly.
Yeah. And look, it's just insane, like, how big this company is and how it's taken over, like, the American and you said international market,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. I don't know if there are competitors internationally, but I do know that they do at least exist internationally. I believe it's maybe China that uses it, potentially Japan. I don't know the exact specifics, but
Well,
it is used internationally.
I'm just gonna say this out loud. I could see a lawsuit breaking out, like a huge document.
Oh yeah, like a what are those
Supreme
called?
Court.
Well, Supreme Court case, but what I'm saying is like a class action lawsuit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, where
Like,
it's like I was treated unfairly
yeah.
by this company.
Not that Jacob and I are saying that
Yeah.
either one of us was treated unfairly. Just
We're
that
just
it would be
saying
completely possible.
It is a completely possible in the near future.
Yes.
That
Because there's no way that all of their practices are fair under business law. Additionally,
it's way too big for it.
yeah. Additionally, a point that I wanted to make is they do claim to be a nonprofit, but, and here's the big twist, their high-level employees make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and their CEO. I know this is a while ago because we don't have like super recent, super recent data about how much their higher ups are making. But as of, I believe it was 2007, their CEO was making like $1.3 million a year. So we're claiming to be a nonprofit, but we're going to also pay our CEO, probably now it's upwards of $2 million. So multi-million dollars per year on his salary. He's not just a millionaire. Multi-million dollars per year on his salary. I think that has gone too far. The nonprofit laws are pretty stringent in the United States, 501c3 and all that. There is no way that this company not only shouldn't, like, it's a monopoly, but it's also breaking nonprofit law. There's no way it should exist, and I think the only reason it does exist is because the U.S. government would not know what to do with education if this company didn't exist, because it's existed for far too long. What do you think, Jacob?
I would say watch out for testing, especially in all these classes, to change, especially with incoming leaders. Actually, I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk politically on
this company?
Yeah.
No, I think that it's essentially immune from both sides of the aisle attacking it, because nobody wants to attack this company outright. I mean, I've looked online. There are people attacking it, but nobody like prominent that I've seen is attacking this.
And I've
this
never
company.
really heard anyone talk good about them either.
No, I think everybody dislikes this company, but just happens to go along with the flow because you don't want it. You don't want to step on the
toes. This might
toes.
get political, but it's kind of like the whole thing where we are supporting. This is going to get slightly political, but how we support the Ukraine attacking Russia, but we still pay Russian oil because we can't.
Yeah, exactly. You don't like this, and you would actually prefer to get rid of how this thing is.
We can't.
But you can't rely without it. Exactly. That was a good analogy, despite it being mildly political, but it's okay. We'll let it slide, obviously. But exactly, it's our society is too reliant on this company and its tests to get rid of it, and so basically they just have to suffer through it. And this company, not to mention, Jacob, this company charges money to take their tests. Like, how is that fair that they're the only option? And right now, their tests, the tests for their courses, like if you take their class and you want to take the test, or if you just want to test out of that class that you would in college, that test is about $90. Additionally, I almost said the name of their regular test, their regular one that everybody takes, usually their junior year of high school. That test happens to be, I believe it's about $20 to $25, which is significantly cheaper. But the difference there is not everybody's taking these these tests for those courses, but they are taking them for pretty much every student in 11th grade in the United States takes this test. And so they could charge whatever they want. Now, many schools get cut deals with them, which allow them to have reduced prices or even take it for free. But think about that. If this company decided all of a sudden they were going to triple their prices, they could. They have an actual monopoly, and schools would not be able to switch fast enough. Yeah, maybe 3 years down the line, the schools could switch to the ACT, but they can't switch right away. So,
man, imagine like that. That would be a crazy thing. Like, I'm not saying that it is likely to happen that this company goes down, but if like a big lawsuit happens and it starts getting bad press, I could see this company going down very fast.
yeah, I could see they could get hit with some lawsuits, and they could get hit with government action. They could definitely be violating some antitrust laws, because there's no way that a company that size should have that much power over the youth in America. I mean, you're talking about basically students age like whatever 7th graders. So students
12?
ages 12 or 13 all the way up to, well, they're in college, so all the way up to maybe 25, are greatly affected by this company, and it's a major stressor on them. Not to mention these tests are major stressors.
These
Plus,
might cause some of the most things. Like these testing seasons might cause the most stress on the American teenage population.
exactly. So I think it's unfair that this company can even exist, and I think it's kind of insane that it exists now, and that we've let it get this
The
far.
only thing I can see that is slightly changing is how colleges are having admissions happen.
That's true. I really appreciate test optional schools. I think that that's great, but I think these test optional schools should provide an alternative to just having GPA based admission, because this company's classes allow you to boost your GPA. And so essentially people are still going to be reliant on this company regardless of if they're
and the people that it hurts the most is this is going to get slightly into our opinions on schooling and all that stuff, but it hurts private schools and charters. And
exactly, private and charter schools are affected greatly because private and charter schools typically don't offer these type of classes that are going to have higher GPAs, and they're going to have less opportunities there.
Which chooses parents to have to choose between, am I going to send where I want to send my kids, or am I just going to send them because I need them to take these classes because this is the future they want?
Exactly. Plus, additionally, this is kind of unrelated but similarly related, like you'll see in a roundabout way. But stats are showing right now that impoverished communities, African American communities, minority communities are greatly affected. Not necessarily greatly affected, but they typically have lower scores than they should. It's actually, these tests are misrepresenting these groups, and essentially what is happening is the test, it's measuring the aptitude, the standard test that everybody takes in their junior year is measuring the aptitude, but because of just historical situations, these students are coming back with lower scores than they should, and it might have to do with education. It might have to do
Especially
with
if they're from the inner city schools.
Environment. Yeah,
which is an entire different conversation. Because inner city schools,
there needs to be some schooling reform, but the problem is, it's grossly these tests grossly misrepresent these impoverished and minority communities. And so it's just absolutely insane that on top of all of these things that we've already mentioned, how they're a monopoly, how they're claiming to be a nonprofit but paying out huge, how they're essentially controlling who gets in and out of college and what people can say, essentially controlling their freedom of speech. Plus, it's just misrepresenting these communities that need to be represented.
I'm just going to say this right now. This could be a very rare situation, especially these days in our political climate, which is a totally other conversation. But in the political climate, this could be something that both sides agree on.
Yeah, I would agree. This should be a bipartisan issue, that this company needs to be reformed, because both sides of the aisle can definitely see problems with it, and clearly it's something that's greatly affecting America's youth. So, any other further comments, Jacob?
This might be this. I'm just gonna say it right now. It could help especially the anxiety, depression pandemic that we're having in our young youth.
That's true.
We don't really know because we never really had it without it for like hundreds of years where we wouldn't see that statistic.
Well,
There's-
about 100 years
about-
since 1899. So
Yeah, so if we really want to make a change in how schooling works, which schooling as a system needs to be changed drastically, which is a different situation
yeah,
too.
but we have alluded to it. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like I totally agree. These tests need to be changed so that exactly anxiety and depression are going up because of these tests, plus all these other issues we've mentioned. Anything else?
Oh, I think we hit a pretty good
Yeah.
point.
Yep. And if this one's been a little heavy for you, maybe check out some of our other content. We figured we'd throw out a bonus bite on a little more serious note, and I'm sure it'll be fun and lively in the weeks to come. Just figured this is something that I really care about, and you've seen, Jacob
And
definitely
if,
cares about it
you
too.
guys like this, contact our schooling commentary.
Yeah, our modern schooling commentary. Let us know down in the comments.
We'll release a big video where we
We'll-
just talk about how we both rework. the
Yeah,
schooling system.
we'll come up with a new idea for schools. But thanks for tuning in. I'd like to say thank you to our Patreon supporters, Sam Shockmav, Josiah Keller, and JJ Sebastian, and also a thank you to our good friend of the show, Joel Webb. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.